is Monday, so I thought, why not start a reading vlog? Maybe a moving vlog as well, probably a moving vlog as well. Excuse the birds. Around this time they tend to just fly around outside and perch, but they're very beautiful and they're very friendly, so hopefully I can get some footage of those when the garden is cleaned up and when we've actually got a little bird feeder out there. So Australian bird wildlife incoming. But for now I want to discuss what I'm reading because I'm doing a separate vlog for this, but it is Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne, which is his new Norse-inspired adult fantasy series. I know Hunger of the Gods is the sequel and that's currently out, so if I like this then I've got a sequel to continue pretty much straight away. And I'm a little bit puffy because I just got home and this is a very adulting sentence, okay? I had to pick up my curtains from the dry cleaner, and curtains are heavier than they look. So I've just carted them inside and put them in our spare bedroom, and I'm waiting for us to finish painting our front master bedroom, and when that's painted, like the walls when they're painted, we'll move in and put the curtains up. But for now, I am just making do in this back living area, which is very echoey, so again I apologise, but that is my physical read, and I've started John Gwynne before and not loved his stuff. It's been okay, and I've not gone back because I want to be wowed rather than just okayed. But so far I'm not hating this, which is good. I'm enjoying myself in its multiple perspective, so it keeps things fresh, and I thought last time his multiple POVs slowed me down. So in that regard I'm enjoying this. And then on audiobook I'm doing a reread because in my last vlog I had a DNF, and so that meant that I could start a new audiobook. So I have started my reread of Becky Chambers with The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, which is very hard to describe, so I don't know how many reviews are out there, but I really want to write down all of my thoughts cohesively and do a separate review, because whenever I talk about this I just kind of grasp at the feelings and the vibes from the book rather than actually describe what it's about, and it's really again hard to coalesce into a very snippy elevator pitch, but it's essentially about existential thoughts, feelings, identities. It's about aliens and humans. So humans left Earth on the Exoden fleets ages and ages ago, like literal years and years past, and now they have come into contact with aliens, and Earth has since, died, and so it's effectively been destroyed, and humans have moved to different planets, and so naturally on those different planets lots of different aliens exist, non-humanoid aliens, some bipedal aliens, so it's an interesting mix of culture with humans but humans intermingling with aliens, and then all of the food and the dialect that comes with that. And so it's about this crew that go on long hauls through space because they connect one point to another by punching through space with a wormhole. So it's very much found family in this series, which is what I love. It's queer positive, it's very well represented, it's very mindful as well, and these books just really capture my heart. So that's what I was going for, something more character driven. Even though there is, plot and tension in there in various forms, it's more about the characters. So I'm obviously loving it, and I'm halfway through, and on my drives to work now I've got a little bit more time than before. It sucks waking up earlier, but it's also good because it's motivating me to read audiobooks faster. So I'm loving The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and I'm enjoying my physical book. So hopefully I actually finish some stuff this week, continue my October TBR because it's kind of all over the place, and actually read some audiobooks and do rereads that I want. So that's really ultimately my goal, and I'm hoping to kind of move stuff in by the end of the month. But I'm not sure how that's going to go if we've got a wedding on Saturday, and that's going to be a lot. So we're not going to have a lot of time this weekend to paint like we did last weekend. So I'm really hoping that painting the walls goes really fast compared to how we painted the ceiling, which took a long time. We've got the ceilings painted in the front living room, the front master bedroom, and then our laundry, so we can move a washing machine in as soon as possible, because going back and forth to do my washing is the bane of my existence right now. It's just frustrating kind of being uprooted and also sleeping on a mattress on the floor. It gets very cold, even though it's supposed to be spring right now. But anyway, I digress. I'm going off on a tangent. I'm going to go and read now. We have now done an undercoat, just one undercoat, on the front room and the master bedroom. And what was worrying me was we've got a cut in, which is painting all around here. And then after that you go over with the roller on all of the middle. And what was worrying me was you can see kind of the outline of the undercoat. And then the ceiling looks, you might not be able to tell on the camera, but the ceiling looks a little rough as well. And I was like, oh, I hope the paint doesn't look like this. But I've been told that once we paint, those middle bits and the outside are going to be seamless, like it's all going to be one colour. I think I'm just being pernickety and it's only the undercoat. We've still got 2 coats of actual paint to go. So it's probably not even worth stressing about and all this is going to be completely fine. Oh, this wall now though, it looks so good because before you can see my previous vlog that all along here was all like super duper sketchy and shady, but now it actually looks like a proper wall that you can use. So, you know, it's coming along, and when the front 2 rooms are done, we can actually move in and start properly living in it, which is very exciting. Hello? You would not believe how wrecked I am right now. We had such an awesome time at our friend's wedding last night, but now I am so tired. And we've also got Dave's dad here to help us with cleaning up some of the garden. You can probably hear them mowing the lawn right now, and then also doing the final coat of paint on that front bedroom. So hopefully after that we can varnish the wood on the windowsills and then steam clean the carpet and finally move a bed in. But as for reading, I did start another book and I finally chose an audiobook. It was a very hard decision after finishing. Oh, I haven't told you. I finished The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet and I absolutely adored it. I'll talk more about it properly when I'm actually sitting down because right now it's very shaky cam. But I also want you to know that I started the audiobook for the Sunbearer trials and I'm really enjoying it so far. This is the first coat of paint on. Camera keeps going blurry, which is annoying. It already looks like a different house altogether. And we've only got 1 layer done. Even the closet now, there's no scuff marks, which is very different to how it used to be. Just to give you a frame of reference, this is the new first coat. And out here, we've still got the undercoat on. But the ceilings are done. Oh, it's gonna look good. Hello, I can finally talk to you face to face properly. I mentioned before that I'd finished a book, I was reading a book and I've made progress, but we had the wedding and then we've had work and then we decided that we might want to change the paint on the front room, so I'll just quickly cut to that footage. Alright, so we weren't initially sure about the wall colour. You can kind of see it more easily in the corner, but there's a new attempt here that Dave was looking into just to see that we liked the colour. Initially we felt it was too yellow, but now we think that the original colour on the walls is what a bedroom needs. Whereas out here, that wall colour is the same as the bedroom. It looks very yellow. So we're doing this colour here in this massive living area to make it look more open rather than more yellow. Oh man. It has been a lot of trial and error, but I do have good news, let me show you. We finally got our washing machine! I have waited for this. But I have the books now to talk to you about. So with Shadow of the Gods, I'm almost 300 pages into this, which means I've got 200 to go. And I obviously have just been so busy that I haven't had enough time to sit down and physically read. If I'm rushing, it's because my battery is low, because I'm just that organized. Also, my microphone battery died and it took me a few days to actually get it up and running again. So it's been several days. It's now the 7th of October. So we're just gonna breeze right through and talk about the things that I have finished and that I'm reading, because that is what the exciting part is. So I finished The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I talked about it in my September wrap up, so I will link that for you if you're interested. And I just love Becky Chambers, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna reread her work or their work. I'm not sure of the pronouns of the author. I just adored it so much, and after DNFing Iron Gold, I needed something that was, you know, more character focused, a bit softer, a bit cozier, rather than being very removed from characters, very political and very brutal. This is like the antithesis. I never know how to pronounce that word, but I can spell it. I just wanted the opposite of Iron Gold, and I really got that with Becky Chambers. So the Wayfarers series, it is a series, technically they're companions, but you have related characters in them. So I would encourage you to read the normal publication order through them. But Wayfarer's book 1, which is Angry Planet, was about Rosemary Harper and Ashby, and Rosemary is a woman who wants to escape her past, and so she takes this clerk job on Ashby's crew, and Ashby is obviously the captain. There are multiple crew members that you meet that are both humanoid and alien, and I loved experiencing their dialogues and their cultures and how they were vulnerable, curious, and all of their passions and goals and how they interacted with each other. The sense of respect, community, and just love from Becky Chambers' work is why I keep going back, and I'm so upset with myself that it took me like 6 years to pick this up again for a reread. I don't know what's wrong with me, because I need to finish the others on a reread as well. And the 4th one in this series I didn't love as much as the others. So like Iron Gold, I was like, I wonder if I'll like it more on a reread. But given that it's Becky Chambers, I think my reread of that will be a bit more reliable. So I loved and gave it 5 stars to Angry Planet, and the ending just was so emotional. I forgot how deeply I feel for these characters, and they all felt so tangible to me. I just love them, let's be real. And then I started another audiobook because I finished Angry Planet, and that is the Sunbearer Trials, which I mentioned that I'd started. I'm now about just under 2 hours left of the audiobook. I've been really smashing it out, to be honest, and I'm really surprised at myself at the frequency that I've been reading it. I must be hungry for a good story, and when I latch onto one, I really commit. And I have briefly talked about the synopsis again in my September wrap-up, so go and check that one out. But this one is about Teo, and he's a jade in a world of humans, jades, and golds. And golds are demigods, so are jades, but not to the same frequency of power. And they all live in different cities, but in Teo's city, they're doing this Sunbearer trial. And the trial obviously spans the cities, but it originates where Teo is. And Teo is a trans boy who has wings, and he's a jade, and jades don't really get accepted into the trials, but given that it's called the Sunbearer Trials, like obviously he's going to be part of them, otherwise there'd be no story. So I'm liking the way that it is incorporating understanding of social context and different groups, and how these characters are quite cliquey in some ways, and it captures the demigods versus the humans in kind of like a way to discuss racism or different phobias of different people and different backgrounds and religions. So it's really interesting to look at it from that social lens of my existence relating to the story. I think it's just a very clever book, and I believe it's young adult, so the way that you relate to it is quite snippy and very easy to do, rather than being, you know, an adult fantasy that's got a whole lot of terminology and a whole lot of things to learn. I feel like I could just start this book and just be sucked right in. And obviously that's what I wanted. I also wanted something with a little bit of romance. And while this had romance or has romance in it, it's been very slow burn, so it's not really the focus of the story. I don't even think it's necessarily the B plot, I think it's probably more the C plot. It's old friends who used to be close, and because of their social requirements, they've been pulled apart, and so now they're kind of meekly trying to rekindle their friendship in some ways, and there's a tenderness and a vulnerability about it that I quite respect. So I like it. I think it's probably going to be 4.5 stars, and I honestly can't guess at what's going to happen in the plot, so that might bring it up to 4.55 stars, who knows. I plan to finish it early next week, but this vlog is going to finish probably before I end up finishing that audiobook, because this weekend we've got PAX, which is a gaming convention, and I am cosplaying, so I will show you if I get a moment. So after we do that convention, Dave is going to Sydney for a few nights for work, and while he's gone, I'm going to try and smash out the rest of Shadow of the Gods, and then hopefully wrap up this vlog, because vlogging and filming videos in a house and then not having my PC at the same house so I can't edit them, it's very frustrating. So at some point I feel like there's going to be a bit more balance, but at the moment it's still chaos. So I'll get back to you later when I might have actually finished some stuff, or painted a room even, but don't hold your breath. Now it's the 10th of October, so a few more days since I updated you. This vlog has just stretched so long because I had battery trouble with my camera. Plus we had a lot of events on, so PAX was absolutely amazing. I've never been before, but oh my god, it was taxing because I'm exhausted now, as well as having a 30th party on the weekend, so it was just a very full-on weekend, and now I've got to be back at work all week, so I'm not loving that, and I haven't read much either. So I'm still at the same place I was at in Shadow of the Gods, unfortunately, which is just under 300 pages, and I'm likely to read this again during the week, but I also don't want to make promises because while we were at PAX, my father-in-law worked for 12 hours straight on our house, and he has now painted the front room with 2 coats and varnished the bedroom. So because he's done all of that, all I need to do now is do some sanding on all of the skirting boards around the living area in the front, and then varnish those, wait for it to dry, steam clean the 2 carpets, and move everything in. So I am really hoping that by this coming weekend, I have not only my clothes finally in one place, maybe some of my books in one place, and also maybe my PC in one place, because filming back and forth is driving me nuts, which I have definitely mentioned before in a vent to you. So I'm hoping against hope that all things align because, you know, sometimes stuff just takes longer than you anticipate, which is very much the case with painting. So this week will hopefully be quite eventful in terms of moving things. I don't think I'll be able to move my bookshelves quite yet. I've got to get more curtains dry cleaned before we can put up bookshelves in the front room because that window is technically open, but semantics. I think we're going to have a bed in soon. We've definitely got a massive mattress, so a bed is the next step, or a bed frame at least. But regardless, I want to update you with my reading aside from Shadow of the Gods, and that is I finished Sunbearer Trials. And I know I said earlier that I couldn't see anything coming, but I thought about it a little bit and I had a suspicion, like a nagging suspicion about something, and part of it was confirmed. So I did kind of predict something, but not in the same breadth that I predicted some of Cemetery Boys, because that book seemed a little bit more inevitable than this one. So I'm really keen to continue because it's a duology, so with the next release it'll be done. So I liked the main character, Teo, and I liked that there wasn't necessarily a steamy romance in it, but a building rapport between these 2 characters that haven't been able to interact because of their social standing over a very long period of time. And so I like what has been set up in book 1 and what has eventuated in book 1 to build these characters in their own versions of confidence and understanding. And I ended up giving it 4 stars, so I did like it quite a lot. And I'm again looking forward to reading more, but I don't think the sequel to that comes out for a while because I know that this is a new release for this year. So I might be waiting a while, but that's fine. I also enjoyed the audiobook presentation of it, so I might end up just pre-ordering the audiobook when I have a spare credit, which is probably inevitable. And then I also started a new audiobook called Silver Under Nightfall, and I really haven't read much of that, but it's by the same author that wrote The Bone Witch, and I DNF'd that series after book 1. But I think this book is going to give me what Empire of the Vampire didn't. I hated Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. I have a whole vlog where I suffer. Because why not? And then I think this one is going to have a male-female-male polyamory romance in it, and it's also about vampires. And while this does have the F-bomb in it and it swears, it's not gratuitous and it's not put in there to make the character seem edgy like in Empire of the Vampire. So far I'm liking it, and the audiobook presentation again is excellent. So I have made, I feel, good choices. My friend Marie also really liked Silver Under Nightfall, and because we have such similar reading taste, I figured that I would probably enjoy it too. And it's true so far. I am liking it and enjoying myself. I keep putting this off though, and I think that's because the writing style is a little bit more descriptive and a bit more dry, so it requires a bit more of my attention span, especially with the world building that's going on here. I think I should be able to finish it very shortly because, you know, it's the 10th of October and I've only finished the Sunbearer Trials, which is 1 book this month. I'm a bit ashamed that I have been reading this for a bit too long, but we have been working on a house. So, you know, I've made some effort, but I could make more. But anyway, that is the end of my reading vlog. I assume that I will start one again soon to document some actual proper moving, because so far it's just been us losing our minds about painting the place, which will probably continue. We have a lot of rooms to go, but at least for the most part, we'll likely be in very soon. So thank you so much for watching this vlog. I'll come talk to you down in the comments. Leave me some red hearts, I guess, if you've watched this far in the video, and I will talk to you in my next one. Bye.